Welcome to Around Africa, from a political shakeup in Tanzania to a health emergency in the Democratic Republic of Congo. From Nigeria's latest repatriation story to music buzzing in Ghana and a city in Benin where the roads are actually made of water. This is Around Africa, bringing you the stories, sound, culture, people, and places making waves across the continent. I'm your host, and as always, you should know today. We begin in Tanzania, where the country's vice president, Emmanuel Nchimbi, has resigned and announced his retirement from politics. Nchimbi said it was stepping down because President Samia Suluhu Hassan wanted a change. The announcement comes as Tanzania continues navigating major political development, making the resignation one of the continent's significant political stories this week. So, what happens next? The focus now turns to the political implications of the resignation and what it could mean for Tanzania's leadership and political landscape. And yes, this is one political story that could have bigger consequences than the headlines suggest. Now to the Democratic Republic of Congo, where health authorities are intensifying their response to an ongoing Ebola outbreak. More than 16,000 doses of the available Ebola vaccine have arrived in the DRC as health workers battle the outbreak in eastern part of the country. The outbreak involves the Bundibugyo virus, a rare Ebola species that health authorities have been tracking closely. The situation has triggered heightened concern across the region because of the potential for further spread and the difficulty of reaching communities in remote areas. For health authorities, speed is critical. Vaccination, surveillance, treatment, and community education are all part of the response. Africa's health authorities are watching this one very closely. In South Sudan, the humanitarian situation is becoming increasingly dangerous. The latest UN report says at least 36 humanitarian workers have been killed in South Sudan since January 2026, already more than the 31 killed throughout 2025. And the danger is not limited to aid agencies. A UN maze patrol in Jonglei State was ambushed on August 24. 2 Ethiopian peacekeepers were killed and 7 others injured, including 2 civilian United Nations staff members. That means humanitarian and peacekeeping operations are increasingly being carried out in an environment where even routine movement can become deadly. And for millions of people who depend on humanitarian assistance, that creates an even bigger problem. When the people bringing the aid cannot safely reach communities, the humanitarian crisis gets even worse. Back to Southern Africa now. Another 65 Nigerians are expected to return home from South Africa today, August 26, according to Nigeria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The returnees are expected to depart Johannesburg Oliver Tambo International Airport and arrive in Lagos later today. The development comes amid continuing concerns over xenophobic attacks and tensions involving foreign nationals in parts of South Africa. For the Nigerians returning home, the journey represents another chapter in a difficult regional migration story, one involving safety, economic opportunity, and relations between African neighbors. Africa borders connect us, but migration remains one of the continent's most complicated conversations. Now let's turn up the volume. Ghana music scene is already looking ahead to September with recording artist Ja I set to headline the Western Hustlers concert in Abosho on September 10. The announcement is generating attention across Ghana's western region as fans prepare for a major night of music and entertainment. And this is exactly what makes African music scene so exciting. Big names that not only coming from capital cities, events like this are bringing music, youth, culture, and entertainment into regional communities, creating platforms where local audiences can connect with artists on home ground. So Ghana, Are you ready to make some noise?
Jamaican! Come in, Jamaican. Come in, you think we're done? It's Rebel Salute. 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 It's Rebel.
And now to one of Africa's most beautiful cultural traditions in northern Ethiopia, the annual Ashendo Festival. A celebration traditionally centered on girls and women has once again put Tigrayan culture in the spotlight. But this year, there is a worrying twist. A major Ashenda celebration in Mekelle was cancelled amid fears that a large gathering could be targeted by drone strike. Ashenda is known for traditional clothing, singing, dancing, and public celebrations by young women. So while the festival represents identity, heritage, and cultural pride, this year it also reflects a much bigger concern. Can communities safely celebrate their culture while living under the shadow of renewed insecurity? A celebration of culture interrupted by concerns over security.
Shade Shade hoy Ababaye lemlem Ba'alachin derese Yedil Yesalam.
Something delicious for your Around Africa menu. Africa's food scene is getting ready for a major celebration in Kigali, Rwanda. The African Food Festival 2026 is set to take place from August 34th to September 4, bringing African food, nutrition, culture, and creativity together at the Kigali Conference Center. And this is much more than a food fair. Visitors can expect street food, live cooking, tastings, a culinary village, music, and food innovation, all aimed at celebrating Africa's culinary heritage while also spotlighting the people and businesses shaping the continent's food future. From traditional flavors to modern African food businesses, the festival is putting one message on the table. African food is not just something we eat, it is culture, identity, business, and history. And with food entrepreneurs, chefs, farmers, and innovators coming together, Kigali is about to become one of the continent's tastiest meeting points. So, Around Africa viewers, what Africa dish would you put on the menu? Jollof, injera, inyama choma, fufu and soup, bonicho, or something your grandmother makes that the rest of Africa simply has to discover? Welcome to Gamve, Strange But True Story. It's a strange but true story. Imagine waking up in a city where there are no ordinary streets because the streets are water. Welcome to Gamve in Benin Republic. Located on Lake Noku, Gamve is one of Africa's largest field settlements with homes, markets, and community life built above the lake. Instead of cars dominating the street, people move around in traditional boats. The floating market comes alive on the water. Fishermen walk around their homes, and the entire community has developed a way of life adapted to the lake. The settlement has roots stretching back centuries when the Tofina people moved into the lake to escape slavery. Today, Gamve is one of Benin's most remarkable cultural and tourism destinations. Imagine saying, I am stuck in traffic, and the traffic jam is made of boats. And here's a quick Around Africa recap. Tanzania, Vice President Emmanuel Nchimbi resigns. DRC, Ebola response intensifies as vaccine supplies arrive. South Sudan, humanitarian workers face rising danger. Nigeria, South Africa, another 65 Nigerians are scheduled to return home. Ghana, Jahai prepares for the Western Oscillors concert. Ethiopia, Ashenda brings culture and consent into the spotlight. Africa Food Festival is coming to Kigali. Benin. Gamve reminds us that some African cities really do run on water. And that is Around Africa for today. 7 stories, 7 different countries and teams, 1 continent filled with news, music, culture, tradition, people, and places that continue to surprise the world. From politics to public health, music to dance, culture to strange but true destinations, Africa is always moving. I'm your host, and this has been Around Africa. Stay curious, stay connected, and keep watching Afrivox TV.